So, you get all sorts of rumors. I mean, one thing we know, I know it's easy for you to say, Colin, you don't know more than these guys. But the reality is there was a team that drafted Tim Tebow in the first round, and I told you the day it happened, it's a massive mistake and a waste of a pick, and I was right. A team drafted Johnny Manziel, and I told you, despite what Nick Saban said, he's going to be a complete NFL bust. I'm not always right, but I can see the bombs happening. I can see the whiffs happening a mile away. I'm not a big believer in drafting wide receivers in the first round. They're almost always busts. But here's the big rumor today. The Giants, New York Giants, Daniel Jones, Duke quarterback, selected with a number 6 pick. That's the big rumor from people who cover the Giants and are in the room. Oh, that would be an incredible reach. If that's the 6th pick, that is an incredible reach. So Sam Darnold a year ago, there's not a scout in America that doesn't have Sam Darnold drafted significantly higher than Daniel Jones at Duke. Darnold's bigger, stronger, more athletic, better arm. Not negotiable. Not arguable. Dave Gettleman came out a couple weeks ago and said the priority is to select the best players. You can't go for position. You got to get the best guys. That's why we got Saquon Barkley. We thought he was the best quarterback, the best player, excuse me. That's why we took him over Sam Darnold. We thought he was the best player. Okay, if that's the truth, if that's really what you're doing, you're telling me Daniel Jones is the 6th best college football player in America. He's not the 6th best college football player in the ACC. He's not a top 15 player in the SEC. He's not a top 5 player in the Big Ten. Listen, the last 2 years against ACC teams, the best teams he plays, he was 6-10. That's with an exceptional head coach. He completed 54% of his throws in the ACC. I'm not saying he doesn't have value, but I have been on something for years. If you do not complete 60% minimum of your college throws, you will not make it big in the NFL. There's one exception, Matt Ryan, and he was like 59%. This young man with a great college coach, with a fluffy out-of-conference schedule, under 60%, 54% last 2 years. He's a 3-year starter. So that means this kid knows the offense, got the same coach, not a lot of chaos. 54% in conference. So if you take him, what you're telling me is you must think he's better than Sam Darnold. Out of your gourd. By the way, he's not only not better than Sam Darnold, he's not better than Josh Rosen. Not a single scout thinks that. And the Giants have 12 draft picks. They could give up one, the 17th, and take Josh Rosen. My takeaway on what the Giants should do, number 6 pick, take a defensive player. Number 17, trade it for Josh Rosen. And then you've got 10 more picks. Because actually the Giants over the last couple of years have upgraded their O-line. They've got a good tight end, couple of decent receivers, star running back. They just need defensive players and a quarterback. So this is the classic say one thing, do another. This is the big rumor. Now, remember this. I know what you're saying. Colin, you don't know. I told you, Johnny Manziel, not going to work. I told you, Tim Tebow, disaster. Never forget. I'm also the guy that says, don't take wide receivers early. Go back to the 2015, 16, 2017 draft. I'm like, don't take wide receivers. It's the number one bust position. Draft 2 years ago. Who's the number one bust? John Ross, wide receiver. Called it. Don't draft him first round. 9 pick to Cincinnati. Bust. This has the makings of a wild reach. A wild reach. And I don't want to hear, well, what do you know? I have basic theories. I write books on these stupid theories of mine. And when it comes to NFL quarterbacks, and by the way, don't tell me I said Baker's a bust. I told you, Baker's not going to be a bust. Baker Mayfield's not going to be a bust. I told you that. I wouldn't draft him. Undraftable if I was a GM, all that nonsense, crotch-grabbing stuff. He's not going to be a bust. He's too accurate. And before you go crazy, oh, look how good he is. He finished third in his own division last year. Let's settle down. He finished third. Under 500. Let's not go crazy. With very few exceptions, I would always pass on wide receivers in the first round. Calvin Johnson was the rare wide receiver that I would have even taken him number one. By and large, I don't think wide receivers win games in December, January, and February. I don't think you build football teams from the sidelines in. You build it for the center out. In fact, I think the biggest potential first-round bust this year, I always call one, is DK Metcalf, a wide receiver from Ole Miss. He's a classic. He's off to your left here in this picture. He's like the most impressive physical specimen maybe on the planet Earth. Big body, combine warrior. I think he's got bust written all over him. Not a bad kid. I just see a guy that, again, looks like Superman, and I've seen this act before. They just look great with a shirt off, and then they can't create enough separation, and they don't have the skills needed, catching radius that I'm looking for to be great. And just let me give you an example of why I would not, and this is nothing against DK. It's a bigger topic. I don't believe in taking wide receivers first round. Let me take you to the last 3 drafts. Let's go to the 2015 draft. There was a handful of busts. One of them, 7th pick, Kevin White, receiver, Chicago Bears, bust. Philip Dorsett, receiver, bust. Devontae Parker, Nelson Aguilar, 14th, 20th pick. Not a bust, but disappointing. Amari Cooper is the only guy that's been worth the money, and even his initial team bailed on him. Let's go to the 2016 draft. Corey Coleman, Baylor to the Browns, bust. Will Fuller, Notre Dame to Houston. He's good when he's healthy. He's never healthy. Josh Doxson, TCU to the Redskins, bust. Laquan Treadmill, Mississippi to the Vikings, 23rd pick, first round. Is he their 4th best wide receiver? Let's go to the 2017 draft. Corey Davis, 5th pick. He's not a 5th pick. Now, I do like his talent a lot. He's got health issues, trying to stay healthy. If he's healthy, I think he's really, really potentially good, but he can't stay healthy. The 7th pick was Mike Williams, Clemson. Didn't play his rookie year. He was hurt. Again, like Corey Davis, when he's healthy, he's a specimen. John Ross, total bust. Number 9 pick, Cincinnati. I just don't believe in wide receivers. Not in the first round. There's a ton of them in this draft. I think they're all 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round guys. There are people I would move up for. I would move up for a great tackle. I would move up for a great interior rusher. I'd even move up for an edge rusher, a corner, a quarterback. Wide receiver I don't get. And so when I'm looking over these mock drafts, I don't think we're going to have a high bust rate this year, especially in the top 10. I think it's a lot of grinders. I think it's a lot of interior linemen. I think it's a lot of tackling machines at linebacker. I don't see a lot of busts. And so that's one of the things. I don't think it'll be a big bust draft. There's not a lot of flashy players tonight. It's the least flashy draft ever. It's a lot of really solid linebackers and offensive guards and linebackers that tackle well. And, I could make the argument that Kyler Murray, because they're going to ask a lot of them early and it's a really tough position to play, there's a little bust there. They don't have a good O-line in Arizona. They're going to ask him to start immediately. That's a really good division with really good defensive players and very good coaches. Wade Phillips defensively, Pete Carroll, Shanahan. Kyler Murray is going to have, even if he succeeds, it's going to be bumpy. That's a position where Baker Mayfield was better than most thought, and he had some real bumps. He had 3 pick games and finished below 500. So Kyler Murray, to me, he's a dynamic, exotic, exciting player. There's explosions everywhere, fireworks. He's got a little bust potential. Outside of that, I don't see it in the top 10. I don't think there's a lot of flash. I think it's a grinder draft. I think it's an overachiever draft. I do think one of the better players who's going to drop tonight is Rashawn Gary. He has a potential to drop. He's a Michigan player, edge rusher. He's had shoulder issues. There's a chance people get afraid of that and drop him. I think he's going to be a really good player. Again, if he stays healthy, I think he's going to be a really exceptional NFL player. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.